IP litigation. It is such a hot area right now. It is of great interest to practicing lawyers, corporate legal counsels, law students, and even startup founders, business owners, because it is something that really impacts everyone. You know, it's not restricted just to one class of persons, one kind of professional. Even like, say, I'll give you an example. There's this recent case of the humans of Bombay suing another entity for copyright infringement. And they got trolled so badly because they themselves copied something called the humans of New York. And similarly, there's been more interesting cases out there right now, say personality rights cases by big stars such as Amitabh Bachchan, Anil Kapoor. Why all this is happening? Why is IP suddenly such a big thing for lawyers and for other people? Because we have the intellectual property division, which has been in here since the last 2 years, since 2021, which is specially focusing on IP cases and hearing them and resolving them. We have a Commercial Courts Act, which has been brought in for the very purpose of faster resolution of commercial disputes, and which includes IP disputes as well. So we have commercial courts now in both the district court and in the High Court of Delhi and in other high courts, which here just commercial cases. They're very fancy plush courts. They have wooden floorings, they have the best infrastructure, they have good mechanisms in place to hear and quickly resolve IP disputes. And they even try to push towards mediation and settlement, to save the courts and the parties' time. So all of these developments in the last couple of years has made IP a big hotspot for legal work. So if you follow my show, you would have seen that all of my previous episodes were in specific concepts of IP and tech law, which are my main practice areas. However, today I've decided to make an episode on a more dynamic and interesting aspect. Today's episode is on the day-to-day life of an IP litigator. That would be my life. So what does dealing with an IP case really involve? What kind of cases come to me on a day-to-day basis? There are three main kinds of intellectual property: trademarks, copyright, and patents. Of these, trademark cases are the most common before the Delhi High Court IP division, and I personally deal with trademark and copyright cases. So typically, the IP division of the Delhi High Court hears a lot of trademark cases. There are two main kinds of violation of law involved in a trademark case: passing off of a trademark and infringement of a trademark. So let me first explain what passing off is. Passing off is a tort or a civil wrong. It's a concept which we got from common law. Common law principles are those legal principles which are often followed in common law countries. And common law countries are those which were formerly colonized by the British. So torts or civil wrongs are based on these common law principles and are not necessarily codified in the legal system of common law nations. So, what exactly is passing off? Passing off means giving one's product such an appearance that it outwardly looks like or resembles another person's product. It confuses customers into believing that your product is the same as another brand's product. Say, for example, you manufacture and sell cold drinks. You start selling black colored soft drink, which is similar to Pepsi, in a bottle with packaging very similar to that of Pepsi. Something similar to the blue, red, and white circle of Pepsi's packaging. Maybe you even choose a similar name. Now, please listen to me carefully when I use the word similar, not identical. You could be sued for passing off your products as those of Pepsi. Do note that registration of a trademark is not necessary to sue for passing off. Now, let me explain what infringement of a trademark is. The word infringement means violation. So when you infringe someone's trademark, you violate their registered trademark. This is a statutory remedy. In India, it is provided under Section 29 of the Trademarks Act. So if the mark Domino's is a registered trademark and you use that mark or a mark similar to that on your own products, you would be infringing upon their mark. Or or In a case, this is different from a case of passing off where one's mark needs to be restored. But in infringement, it's a statutory remedy, like explained. So that is infringement and passing off. Now, cases can also be filed against counterfeiters. So, counterfeit goods are those which appear identical to those of a brand. Cases for counterfeit goods involve violation of not only intellectual property rights, but also criminal offenses, since they pose a danger to public health and interest. This is because these fake goods can be dangerous if they are consumed or used. Now, there's a rising number of cases related to counterfeit goods these days, pertaining to sale on online platforms. This is because the e-commerce platforms are slow to act against counterfeiters, and hence a lot of these cases are now reaching the courts. I wouldn't be surprised to see a day when e-commerce platforms have a much higher degree of liability, even though they're intermediaries, to control the sale of these counterfeit goods. So, what do we IP litigators and law firms do when a client comes to us complaining of a competitor passing off or infringing upon their trademark? We draft a civil suit for infringement and or passing off against the infringer. Now, since I'm a Delhi-based lawyer, I'll talk about the courts here. If the value of the trademark is above 2 crore rupees, the suit can be filed before the Delhi High Court. If it is less than 2 crores, it will be filed before a district court. Both the district courts and the Delhi High Court have commercial divisions, right? As I explained in the beginning of the episode. Now, interestingly, IP cases are not only about the suits being filed, they are actually more about getting injunctions. So, let me tell you what an injunction is. An injunction is a temporary relief that the court grants a person who files a case till the time that the case is finally decided. So, the injunction remains in force till the final judgment in the suit is given. It is a common remedy exercised in IP cases. Now, in the context of trademark and copyright cases, this means that the court will stop the infringer from further using the trademark or copyrighted material till the case is finally decided. In the scenario that the case is decided against the party that filed it, the injunction will be removed and the other party will once again be allowed to use the mark or material that was challenged for being infringing or for passing off. So, if you are the one who is suing somebody else for IP infringement or passing off, how would you get an injunction from a court? See, this is where you need us IP lawyers. Only we can make a solid case for you to get an injunction. We have to make a prima facie case, right? By showing the court that on the face of it, your case is strong enough to at least get an injunction restraining the infringer from using your trademark or copyrighted material at the present moment till the case is finally decided. So there are a couple of things that we need to do to show the court this. We need to firstly show them that your mark has been in use before the other person's infringing mark. We would also need to demonstrate the value or relevance of your mark to the court. We would need to show the court that the public identifies your trademark with your brand. For this, you would need to show your sales figures. Yes, sales figures of your brand under the trademark that you are claiming has been infringed or passed off. Now, if you are suing for infringement, we would need to file copies of the registration certificates of your trademark as well. We would need to show the court that your product and your competitors' products are being sold through the same channels or on the same platforms in the physical market or online. And this would help convince the court that you and your competitor are selling goods or services to the same customers and through the same channels or markets, thus increasing the chances for confusion. We would also shed light on the legal history of your trademark. This would include information about any cases contested against other parties for your trademark before the courts or trademark registry. So basically, we would have to convince the court that if they do not grant the injunction, your brand would face tremendous financial loss because of the infringer. Right? We would have to convince the court that the infringer is profiting off your stellar reputation and brand name. It would even be more impactful if we are able to show the court that due to the substandard products of the infringer, your brand's goodwill and reputation is suffering, as the public is confusing the infringer's products to be your products. And once you get an injunction from the court, parties usually try to settle the matter through mediation. Now, if a suitable settlement is reached in mediation, the same is recorded before the court and the case can be disposed of. If no settlement is reached, the case continues till a final judgment is given by the court. And in the meantime, the injunction remains in force unless the other party is able to get the same vacated through an application or an appeal. So, those were the nitty gritties of IP disputes before courts, the kind that I get to deal with as an IP litigator on a day to day basis. I've had the incredible opportunity of representing companies from a variety of sectors before the Delhi High Court, trial courts, and the Trademarks Registry. Some of these sectors include food and beverages, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, transport, alcohol, tobacco, hospitality, media, film, social media, and many other interesting sectors. It's been a thrilling ride so far. And I've also dealt with cases outside of the domain of IP in other areas such as constitutional writs, labor and employment disputes, commercial, recovery, contractual disputes, defamation cases, arbitrations, and the like. Each new case teaches me something new and helps me connect the dots so as to serve my clients to the best of my ability. I hope you liked today's episode and learned something new. Subscribe to my channel to watch more episodes and stay connected with me. Always feel free to reach out. Cheers. Thank you.